Wherever
We
you
are
are.
here. We are here.
We're right here.
Here we are.
Right here.
We are here.
Right here.
Mm.
We are right here.
Have no fear.
Have no fear. We here.
Don't hold up. Ain't nobody take our pride. Ain't nobody hold us down. Ah. Oh no.
Nope. We're right here.
Moving.
We are keeping it moving, guys.
Right.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
We are here. It is Intentional Tuesday. We are back.
Yes, we
Intentional
are.
Tuesday.
We are back.
We are back.
Happy
on
daylight
another-
savings time.
Talk
Yo,
about
that
it.
thing got me
Let's
shook.
talk about that.
Baby, I'm like,
Let's
My
talk about that.
God.
I don't know what to go to sleep. I don't know what to be up. I just don't know what to do.
It's too much.
I'm
Y'all
shaking
know,
right now.
you know, we already be up.
Right.
So I can imagine y'all going off.
No, we are
Way
Ooh.
hold on. Oh my
Like,
God.
I didn't even know I was supposed to be getting up to go to work. It's too, like I'm in the middle of the night. Why am I up? What is happening? Guys, you know how we do this. We first of all, thank you for joining us on tonight.
Thank you.
And usually, you know, we highlight a Black business.
Mhm.
But this particular month, we want to continue to highlight and say Happy Women's History Month, guys.
Yes.
Happy
Indeed.
Women's
Salute.
History. We want to
Salute.
celebrate. We want to continue to celebrate
Mhm.
and remind everyone of the achievements of women throughout the years in cultures and societies, especially African American women.
Yes.
And why it's important that we know that these are monumental moments, because we are making history as women in all areas of life, from
Yes.
science to
Yes.
politics, to entertainment, to church, everywhere. We are making strides.
Making
We're
strides.
hosting our own shows, podcasts, and
Mhm.
we're being presidents and vice presidents, and we on everything.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Don't let them tell you that women are not powerful. We are powerful. And so
Yes.
we want to honor and say again, Happy Women's
Happy
History
Women's
Month.
History Month.
We want to continue to tell y'all,
Yes.
We're
Continue.
celebrating you all.
celebrating you,
Yes.
celebrating
all
us.
that you bring.
Keep
to
on
everyone.
moving, guys.
Yes,
And we
yes.
are so glad that even our women who are in business, we salute you. We are saluting you today.
Yes.
And again, Happy Women's History Month.
All right.
All
So
right, all
why
right, all
are
right.
we here?
Why?
Right.
We are here to inspire intentional living.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
And so I just want, for my little piece tonight, I just want to drop a little quote on us.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
Oh, my,
Yeah,
my.
just a little quote.
Oh,
It's by
okay.
Mr. Sir Arthur Ashe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Sir
okay.
Arthur.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes.
Okay.
And the quote says, "Start where you are.
Okay.
Use what you have,
Mm-hmm.
and do what you can."
Okay.
Oh.
Ain't that a blessing?
Say it
And
again.
encouragement.
Start where you
Let me.
are.
Okay, it says, "Start where you are.
Mhm.
Use what you have,
All right.
and do what you can."
Beautiful.
Okay.
We got to start somewhere.
We have to start
Everything
somewhere.
don't have to be all figured out. Just start somewhere.
That's
Okay.
good. I like Arthur.
Me too.
Played a nice little sport.
Oh yeah.
All right. Start
Yeah.
Right
somewhere.
round.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right. So since we starting somewhere,
Uh-huh.
Okay.
we start from somewhere.
Got to be starting some.
Okay.
Oh wait, that's MJ. My bad.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. We'll go with it. We unscripted.
That thing hit me.
Need a little more.
Yeah, that thing hit me. That was Mike J came to me. Sorry, guys.
Oh, all right. All right. So as I was saying, we have to start from somewhere. We already kind of back started on our other shows. We've been talking about relationships in the church with pastors and their wives and the culture of their churches and things of that nature. So on tonight, we're kind of going to expand on that just a little more, talking about principles for better relationships in your churches or in our churches, and tying that in with the culture of the church as well, because those two kind of go hand in hand.
Okay.
So on tonight, I'm going to read for you all the definition of what culture is.
All right.
Actually, the original definition of culture can be defined as all the ways of life, including, of course, the arts, beliefs and institutions of a population, which we are populations, that are passed down from generations to generation. And culture has also been called the way of life for an entire society, such as it includes the codes and manners, dress, language, religion, rituals, arts, and things of that nature. When it comes to culture being defined. Now, when we talk about church culture, church culture, you might have heard the term church culture and wondered, well, what does that mean? It basically means that it's the in relationships of the church. All right. So if we're trying to build better relationships, in our church, we have to do it by defining the culture of our church. The culture and the principles that we want to exude or we want to live by in our church. So us here, we define the culture of, even when it's unscripted. So even in the church, we define what our church culture will look like from day to day, from our values, what we believe, how we interact with each other, with the behaviors, relationship. You got to have a relationship to interact. What our goals are, what our ethics are, our integrity, those things. So on tonight, that is what we're going to discuss. We're going to have an open dialogue. Open dialogue.
I'm a little nervous. Here we go with these open dialogues
on the culture of our church. So I'm going to pose this question, probably to us all. What do you feel like the culture is of your church, or you can talk about a church that you may have been a part of in the past growing up, and maybe tie those two in for right now.
Well, I have had plenty of discussions with others who are in church. So it's funny you say that, because I kind of had a discussion earlier with a coworker. And so the culture that she described of her church, which I believe is probably kind of like some of ours, they're non-denominational now. And she said they're not a traditional organization. They don't have the bylaws. They not voting in a pastor, voting them out. They have a very family oriented, not just based on being blood related as far as humans, but DNA, but life connections. They really push for life connections, and they want to see growth. They want to see evidence of the fruit that's being born. And so I think I even asked her, because I had a question about how their youth ministry looks. What is the culture of their youth ministry? Because oftentimes when we ask what is the culture, sometimes we forget about who coming next.
That's good.
So I asked her about the youth ministry, and she was saying, they don't demand a lot, they're not forcing a lot, but they have them, they're trying to cultivate them into listening and being able to take notes. And we at that point where it's kind of a freedom kind of choice. You don't want to nudge them too tight, too tough, because they get a little antsy, they get a little in the feelings. So she said, but they definitely had that family oriented culture.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah. That's for mine. That's for mine.
So, for me, I can speak to the church that I grew up in. when I lived in New York, the things that I remember the most about that ministry is the fellowships that we would have after church. And so I don't know if it was just like my mom and like just the openness with like having folks over or whatever, but I can remember like really big like Sunday dinners, just having, you know, just, I wouldn't say random because they belong to the church, but just having folks over, you know, young people over. My mom was a young mom, so, you know, connected, of course, with the young people. And so like that was a constant in our home. Like she was very connected to the generation that followed her.
Right.
So I definitely remember that type of culture. I also remember a culture where we were dedicated, right? So I lived in New York, and so New York is as such that there is adequate transportation, right? You could take trains, buses, whatever to get to your destination. And like my brother was, one of my brothers, the one that plays the drums, he was like 5-6 years old. He was our drummer. And like some Saturdays, we would literally get on the bus and take the bus to go to rehearsal.
Wow.
And that was miles away from our home. We lived in Bed-Stuy. Church was like, it don't matter, because if you ain't been to New York, it don't even matter.
Listen,
You know, I live in New York now.
Look,
My uncle lived in New York.
Look,
So.
I got some people in New York. We traveled on foot in New York.
Lord have mercy. But just that dedication, right? It wasn't, you didn't have to pull teeth for folks to do things, you know, for people to be present. So if anything, those are like the two things that stand out the most.
Okay.
For me, as far as the culture.
The culture.
Yeah.
I guess I can agree with growing up, and I'm going back to growing up. Our culture was very family oriented. And I think I stated this before on the show. Regardless if they were your biological aunties or uncles or cousins, they was your aunties and uncles and cousins, and they still are our aunties and uncles and cousins today. Everything, we did a lot with each other, and it was intentional.
Right.
So it was intentional that we showed up even to prayer meeting when we didn't want to come, and we would sit there or whatever.
Absolutely.
And even though we may have been sitting there sometime and joking and acting like we was one of the missionaries or one of the deacons, and now we really are.
Right.
We was playing and grinning at them, and now we hollering out like
right. Exactly.
Because we were serious about it, but it was actually, being honest, it was embedded in us.
Right.
So for us, even now, I feel like in serving in ministry, we've kind of carried that over. But I do want to say this, though, like when we're talking about the culture and relationships of the church, it has taken a change, a drastic change. It's not like how it used to be, kind of like what I just said about like how our parents, grandparents, or whomever took us to church and we were all there sitting there together. Some still do it, but majority don't make their children come to church. And then, so when you were talking about what about our youth, what's going to happen with our youth or what have you, they're not getting those same principles that we're probably getting ready, to kind of discuss too, that we were afforded.
Correct.
We had no choice.
It wasn't a choice.
Right. It wasn't a choice at all.
I mean, it wasn't even a look.
No debate.
It wasn't
none. And so
different ones say they skipping, running, and falling out.
Absolutely.
I mean, child falling out. And we was only 3 and 4 and 5, and we didn't understand what we was probably doing or cared at the time.
But we enjoyed it.
But we loved it.
And we loved being there and being together with each other.
And I ain't gonna lie, we used to sit kind of in the back middle and wait for this one lady. We knew. Baby, when that thing hit her, it was gonna be joy, oh great joy.
Mighty.
And then they made sure that we fellowship, and this is the part I want to get to, with other church groups and churches.
Absolutely.
Correct.
So that we build what? community,
Yeah.
relationships with each other. We've got mad with each other here and there, but guess what? They became like our long distant cousins, kind of like when you talk about the family tree.
Right.
You know, that you used to visit for family reunions and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think the family unit had a different, probably a different level of family unit then. Because now when we look at the family unit, sometimes that unit is not a unit. It's not unity. Like it used to.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
You had a whole family. You had, moms, dads together. Now they might not have been in the best place, but it was like you didn't know that. Because they was trying to stick it out, your brothers and sisters, your aunties and uncles, they was all
even
close.
if you came to church with your grandma and not your mama, a lot of people we knew, but you just you went with it.
Correct. I think now the family is not as strong as it was before. So the relationship building and then people so secure and safe now. They don't. You ain't coming over to my house. I'm not inviting you over.
Do y'all think that it's just like indicative of the culture where we've become more individualistic? And because I don't think that people of color, I'm going to speak regarding people of color, I don't think that we were meant to live the way that many of us are living now.
No, we
right?
Were
separate, apart, this lack of community, people feeling lonely and isolated. I think as a people,
we've taken that on
because that's not the way that we've done historically. Correct. That's not the way we've done life, period.
No, we didn't come in like that.
We didn't even come in like that. Absolutely. And so I think we've taken on, and I've seen this, especially when I moved to Florida, Floridians, it's me, my family, bro, whatever. In Atlanta, it was we do cookouts, barbecues, whatever. Yeah. And then when I moved here, I was just
but I would say to that, sister, that wasn't always the culture here like that.
Right.
It was definitely not.
It went like that.
It went like that.
And I mean, went quick.
It was quick. It was like a whole.
Because you talked about, churches was like your barbecue places. Yes. See, we city too.
Yeah.
So, in Georgia, you got a lot of spread out land. The house is too smushed up.
That's right.
But see, I remember us going to my auntie house and we being at the pool and they barbecuing and anybody welcome. I used to tell my family to take a stray dog. A straight mangy dog at that. He mangy. And they come on in,
Oh, God.
And we don't see it, but then you start seeing the falling away of people even wanting to come to somebody's house or even that, we talking about the church. They stopped doing the church picnics. And this way before COVID. We ain't even talking about right. We talking about way before COVID hit. We had stopped fellowshipping. Nobody wants to stay at the church. I don't know if it's because now they don't even want to. The church be too long, so they don't feel like staying and eating. I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know what it is, or even on Saturdays now, other things have taken the place of we come together and come to rent the park out, and it wasn't just your church having the fellowship. You inviting all the neighborhood churches or whoever you commune with. To be honest, a lot of the churches, pastors, they don't even talk
each other.
They don't even know each other. And there's one on every corner and they still don't know each other. Right. Because I'm in the battle of when I'm trying to get this member. Right. And we reaching this community and you get your community. And ain't nobody building not two.
We got drug dealers. This my corner. This your corner.
This your corner. That's so good.
Silly.
See, that's
silly.
It's definitely silly. And even the relationship portion of it when it comes emotionally. Which I want to get into a couple of the principles. But one of them that I found for the better relationships in the church is engaging in self-control. And I wanted to throw that in because a lot of time emotionally, we have a lot of stuff that go on in church. And because the church culture has changed and, I know we're trying to define our churches and you want to be like this and like that or whatever. And, feelings get involved in anything and hurt or whatever. And we start to really, really speak what's on our mind.
Yeah.
And we forget how to say things.
Right.
We forget, how to respond to different things. And some of us very well who are new coming into the church don't know how to respond to things.
Right.
So it's about teaching them how to do that. But we got to engage in that self-control because that's one of the principles and the foundations of how you can maintain healthy relationships.
And I want to look at that also from the pulpit as well. What I have seen too over the years is with a lack of self-control, you'll have ministers that will preach in a way that that does not demonstrate self-control, right? So if I know something or if I heard something, then I use the pulpit to like say that or share that or whatever. And I think as like ministers of the gospel, we have to really be careful as to how it is that we're using our platforms. Because I think a lot of times people might want community, they might want that connection, but the way in which we deliver the word, like the way in which we take people business and turn it into a sermon, lacking self-control, lacking wisdom, that can definitely cause people to not want to be connected.
The more that you go back to what we were talking about with building community, having these different picnics, like we were saying, things of that nature, more often than just once a year to celebrate church anniversaries or something special, bringing that back, you will understand each other. Right? Because you'll understand, even as pastor, as usher, or whomever, you understand who you have in your church and in your community.
Because we can't do it from far away.
We can't.
No, you have to do it close.
Yeah, you gotta be in the you gotta be in the trenches. And that don't mean that, because we talked about boundaries.
Yes.
That don't mean you overstepping a boundary, but it is showing people that you are willing to fellowship, that you can communicate with them outside of just preaching a sermon on Sunday, or being at the front door ushering and greeting, or helping serve the food in the kitchen. It shows them that you have a human side. It's not just about me being over the youth. It's not just about me being a musician or whatever you do, even just a lay member, because lay members have to be involved. It's not about that. It is about fellowship outside of what I do on a normal Sunday or whatever day you have Bible study or whatever special events. And that's the key to having better relationships.
And I know sometimes we say that, oh, well, I've been hurt over here, I've been hurt over there. In life, we're going to be hurt, and we don't negate anyone's feelings or how you feel at that time or what have you. But we have to come to a place at some time to open up enough to love again and open up to be able to have what it is that what we want. You won't be able to ever have it if you don't open up to it. And just learning how to understand one another. So
but we can't do that without touch points, right?
True.
If the only thing I know about you is that you come every Sunday with your usher uniform on, that I'm not going to be able to do that. What you're referring to, right? We have to create opportunities for people to connect. Otherwise, they're not going to connect.
Right. And then when you come,
and when you create them, make sure you show up.
That part.
But you come to be impressed.
What I was going to say is, even when they show up to the outside event, you got to talk to people. You can't be sitting over there looking silly in your chair. I just had that jumped on me. I'm sorry. Because come on now, you having a fellowship, and you done made this whole fellowship. Y'all at the skating range. You supposed to be engaging, and you sitting over in the corner.
Engaging.
Right.
You sitting over in the corner. You won't even crack a smile.
Right.
What is the point?
Right.
Then what are we doing? Dad, why are you on?
Why are you here? Get off of the show tonight.
But you know what I'm saying? Because then I'm not going to want to deal with you when we go out.
Right.
Because you looking too Scrooge. Didn't I say something about Scrooge's last time? Or was that in my sermon? Oh, sorry. Wait, that was in my sermon. Sorry about that.
Okay.
You can't be a Scrooge at the fellowship.
Okay.
You might want to stay at the house.
Right.
Mhm.
But I think people see now what you saying that just opened up
Oh
for me.
no!
Yeah, because
I know,
because
I know.
sometimes people want to open up, but it's because of things that they have experienced in the past, and it's because of what they're coming out of, right? Like it's
We give you
it's
time.
multi-dimensional,
Yeah,
right?
it's multi.
Yeah, because some people, like, honestly, because I would be that one. I would be that one in the corner. No, seriously, I would be that one in the corner, just kind of observing and looking and watching or whatever. I wouldn't necessarily be the one that's like vocal and like going around and chi-chi-chiing.
Right.
But I get what you're saying. And I also want to add to that some people just like, that's not their personality.
Right.
That's not, who they are naturally.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try.
Right. So maybe I should refer to those who,
You know what?
who not trying, like you're an observer though. That's different. Because you're going to observe and then you're going to engage.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm talking about the ones who come and you sitting next to them, you trying to engage them. I mean, you may not even be cracking jokes. I'm just naturally going to laugh and holler out.
Right.
But it could be somebody just trying to engage in the conversation. You're not even responding back. You giving short answers.
Right.
Why are we fellowship?
Jaleesa said she's going to sit next to me.
She sit next to you. To you.
sit next to me.
Oh, yeah. She
see
can sit next to
Yeah.
you.
Because see, they watch us
And then they engage.
And then we get overstimulated and we pull back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right.
They gonna laugh for me now. All right, time to go. I got 30 minutes here. I got 30 minutes.
That's my
And
battery.
in my 30
That's my
minutes,
battery.
I'm going to do this and this.
Yeah. And then I'm gone. All right, I got to go now. And it's me. Oh, you finna go? You only been 30 minutes. But it's things like that we do want to acknowledge. Like, we not talking about the ones who watchers and need to go recharge and just, because sometimes we go calling and your assignment calls you to be watchers and observers.
Right.
You do have this.
Yes.
This
Mhm.
but I'm talking about the ones, all the ones. They just me. They just me. And it might be due to experiences, though, guys. It could be due to this when they don't know how to open up.
Right.
Or it's like, I don't want to get too, I don't want people to know I actually smile.
Well, that's why it's important in creating in your church culture, from the head,
all the way down.
All the way down.
The way down.
I'm talking about
from these different moments. Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Never mind. That's okay.
Totally unscripted.
All right.
I do want to say this before we go. Oh my God. We only got a couple of minutes left. We didn't even get through our principles tonight.
And I was like, no.
It'll be a part 2. That's right here.
Part
Please.
2.
Where is D. Lee?
Y'all
Please come and get her.
Please keep praying for my mind.
Right.
But listen, y'all, we have to get to a point where we shift our church cultures back.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of good new things that are arriving, that have arrived, that we weren't used to and that we love in the new church now. But let's be honest, some of those old things, they worked.
Yeah.
And it helped and fostered the relationships that we needed to help us, build relationship amongst each other in community, and help us get to God.
That part.
Because that's our main focus. That's our
Yeah.
focal point is God.
Yeah.
Say it again.
In
Who
this
it is?
song, our main focal point is God, the Father, the Son.
Help me get to God.
Yeah.
Help me get to God.
So that's all. That's
That's
all
all.
we want.
But if I don't even talk to you, I can't even engage in the conversation.
How you gonna get? How you get?
Where you going?
How are you gonna get to God without relationship?
Oh, okay.
Because you gotta have relationship to get to Him.
My gosh.
It's me.
That's it. That's
Uh-uh.
it.
Baby, they told me to be quiet on the show.
So
We
I
do.
guess we're gonna have another.
We might as well
part
bring
of
this
it.
back because we didn't get
Bring
through
it
all
back.
our
Bring
points.
it back.
But I do want, and I want to throw this out here though, because the challenge is, and the question is that we can discuss is now people are saying don't go back.
Uh-huh.
We supposed to move forward.
Oh, okay.
And we don't want to get stuck going back to what we used to know when we need to be moving forward to the new church.
Okay, I ain't gonna.
Right,
I
because-
can't go there tonight.
Because we got to have that conversation, because we're what we
Write it
insinuate
down.
then
Write it
is
down.
that the old is not beneficial, right? When we insinuate that we need to move forward and not consider the old, that means that the old is no longer beneficial. And I think the way that the world is set up today, we need to go back in the worst way, like in the best way and the worst way possible.
In the
Like,
worst
we
way
need to go
ever.
back.
Yeah, because the old way.
What we got going on right now, I don't even know.
Ooh, it's a little
I
different.
felt a song in my spirit.
Oh, Jesus.
What
was the song?
I'm gonna hold it and I'm gonna just hold on to it.
You sure?
Yeah, because it's one that wounds me up. It's a choir song that say go back to the old time way.
Oh,
My
because I
God.
was getting ready to say, take me back, dear Lord. That's what I was thinking
So
about.
I
but I
don't
don't know what you
I don't want to
mean.
shift myself because we got to go. But we thank you
We thank y'all.
We thank y'all for
Yes,
engaging.
yeah.
with us on tonight. Listen, please send us your questions. Send us
Please,
some feedback on what we're talking
please.
about, because we want to throw it in here. If you have questions, you can reach us on our email at totallyunscripted, and we will get back with you. Inbox us on Facebook, guys.
Yes.
Some of you on here know us. Stop acting funny.
Uh-oh.
Just
Come to
ask
our-
questions. We're not like that. Ask questions. You know, our security won't stop you. All
Uh-oh.
right. But we want to hear from you about.
Yes, we do.
We really want to hear from you. We may throw some guests into this conversation.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we love you, but God loves you best.
Yes, he does.
On behalf of Totally
Thank you for
Unscripted,
joining.
See y'all
Good
next
night.
week.
Bye.